So,
There we go. Hello.
right, so you're going to lead this time because I did not make any notes, and this morning I actually forgot what we were supposed to be talking about, which is very me.
Yeah, well, I've just got basic
Oh, that's
points to
basic, is
mention.
it?
To me, it is, yeah.
Okay, so today's is about writing, acting, and careers, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So I'll let you start.
Okay, so I first kind of started going acting in primary school for in year six mainly. So I'd done like the little nativities that we used to do. I think my best role was as a sheep. So
I don't think I ever took part in any of them at all. I was
it
just
wasn't a choice in our school. It wasn't a choice. You had to do it. It was either
yeah.
you were one of the actors or you were sitting at the side as a singing person.
See, I have no memory of anything, so I'm assuming. I remember doing one in nursery, but that wasn't a choice. But apart from that, I don't think I took part in anything. I mean, I remember reading a few scripts at one point, as you do in class, but never any acting. I was more like focused on doing gymnastics and songwriting, singing, and I think there was at one point where I actually did try to like recreate Walter Road. Yeah,
You recreate Woodley Road.
yeah, because I loved it that much that I was like, I want to recreate this. And I remember someone actually trying to recreate High School Musical and they wouldn't give us any role at all. So I was kind of offended by that. I'm like, hello, like sharp here.
I
Like,
mean,
how
yeah.
dare they? Like, I remember that, but my writing and acting started maybe around 11, I would say. I don't understand how I got into it, but I think it was just because I was naturally dramatic and always creating roles and
I think I was roughly the same age when an interest did start. Like writing, I'd kind of dabbled in it in primary school, but never actually done anything like thought about, oh, well, this is what I'll do or anything. But it was just one writing exam in year five where we had to just write, and it went up for about three lessons. So you just had to write that lesson, the teacher would review it, give it back to you the next lesson, then you'd continue. She said, first, she said to us, like, this is really good. You've really surprised us. It's really good. Apart from the ending, I didn't like the ending, which I think every reader has heard that once in their life.
hmm.
And yeah, it wasn't until 14 when I actually said, you know what, I'm going to try and start writing something. But at that point, because I'd just been focused on acting,
Yeah.
like I didn't take acting seriously. It was after like school play when we do it when you leave in year six, we did one,
I
and
did one.
it was ours was a mixture of a Dad's Army episode and an old film called Nightingale Song, and I played the granddad, and I didn't really know like about acting or anything like that. I just got up and did what it said in the script. But my teachers were praising us. Everyone was, even my music teacher said you should try to pursue it because you're naturally good at it. I'm thinking, oh, she even told us that I should apply for a summer school at some place, but never heard back from them. But
Mhm.
yeah, that was the date. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be an actor.
Yeah, I
Never.
remember like my year six one. I was mostly like a talent show, but it was surrounded by the Beatles. Like our teachers absolutely loved the Beatles, so
Mm.
we're surrounded by that almost the entire year. But I have no idea where Monday Blues actually came from because that was the start. Like, did I want to create my own Water Road? Clearly I did, but better now, I would say.
A lot
Um,
better.
like I don't even know. Like I just wanted to create my own world where I was, I guess, accepted and people weren't going to mess with us in a way. And I mean, if you create your own fictional world, nobody's going to mess with you because you're in control. And I think I like that about writing, that it was my narrative, it wasn't anybody else's. And I just started, and I don't think I ever stopped. I mean, I ended up doing like a drama academy, which, oh God, I've talked about quite a bit in different things about how much of a scam it was. And it's still running, which is just crazy. I'm like, I don't know how people actually can go to that place and give them money to be told, oh, you're going to succeed. Oh, and you're going to be doing red carpet events in Leicester Square. So once you finish this film, it's going there. And everyone's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. We're going to get like, and they're like, oh, we're having an agency associated with it. And then they're like, oh yeah, you have to pay 60 quid. And you're like, yeah, nobody really wanted to pay into that. And I don't think anybody actually got any roles from paying that money. Yeah.
Jeez.
It was constantly like discrimination, like against like a lot of people. And it was like if you weren't loud enough, if you weren't all this, they used to put you down like majorly. Or they lied to you, like to get more money out of you. And they always just chose the favourites, and like everyone else was set up to fail essentially, which really sucked. I mean, especially for the price that you were actually paying to be there. The amount of stuff, like I don't even know where the line was crossed with me, but like there was, I think it was after my Trinity exam, or was it just before? They were like, oh yeah, so you're gonna be in the show and you're gonna be part of like an ABBA tribute. And I'm like, awesome, like I really wanted that because that was actually what I auditioned for. I missed auditions because I was in Germany, and they were like, oh yeah, we'll just keep a role for you. And they said, and they were like, oh, but you might be able to audition when you come back. No, I wasn't allowed. And like I lost my voice not long before the show, and
Oh,
they
that's a
forced
nightmare.
me to sing. Like, bear in mind, I barely had a voice, and they just took it out on us and made us cry. Yeah,
They
I got pretty
forced you to sing with no voice, basically.
like I didn't really have a voice. Like it was just coming back, and they were like, "Oh well, you're gonna have to do this, or you're losing your role in the show." And bearing in mind, I had like two lines. Like I didn't want to lose what I had, so I just like pushed through, and it was so bad. Like they could have damaged my voice forever. But
I
oh
mean,
no,
yeah.
they didn't care because it was money, money, money.
Eh.
Yeah, I honestly, and the
I think
fact
they're one of the schools that are just for profit. Like they don't care about you. All they care about is the money they get in.
it gets darker because when I did my Trinity exam, I had to leave not long after. Like that was like it. I was done, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll give you your Trinity exam certificate, right? We'll post it out to you." They did never. They kept it, and I was like I went on to them about it, and my friends, they were like, "Oh, would she be able to get it because she still hasn't had it?" And they just ignored my friends. They just wouldn't. It took, I think it was 4 years for us to actually get it, and I do have the certificate now. But they were so cruel, like they set us up to fail on our like Trinity. So everyone who was the favourites got put in one group, and they got like the easiest subject to do. And then the ones who were like so-called not favourites were put in a group together, and we got the hardest thing to actually do. Like we didn't know. Math questions were like, would we be able to change the subject? It's a bit too hard for us. Bearing in mind, we were mostly like 14, 15 at the time. I think I might have been like maybe around 13. And they were like, no. So we fail. Like we were failing at it. And it was so bad. Like we tried and tried, and it was horrendous. It was such a bad experience where they literally brought your confidence down majorly. And I was made to feel like crap because I just couldn't remember the entire monologue. Like they made us write these massive monologues out, and it was like it was crazy. Bearing in mind,
Jeez.
your brain's not even fully functioning by that age.
At
It was
13,
just like
yeah,
they
that
put
would be a
so much
nightmare.
pressure onto us, and it was just not nice at all. Like the way that we
Damn.
were treated, and yeah, I was glad that I got out of there when I did because I know people who stuck around until like they couldn't go anymore because of the age, and I'm just like, I don't know how you did that. Like my friend, like I'm not going to name her because I don't know if she'd want to be named, but she went to the Newcastle one, and they like our academy shared the same principal and things like that, and she had the exact same experience. It just they were constantly just calling you out on things. Like one time, I didn't have my top. I didn't have it with us. Like I couldn't find it. It might have been in the wash, who knows? And they were literally so bad about it. And I'm just like, there's nothing I can do. Like, what you expecting? Like, we'll buy another one. I'm like, I can't buy another one. Like, I do not possess money at that age. I had £2 for the bus. How am I supposed to like buy a t-shirt? Like, yeah, it was just totally toxic, and it just killed my mentality for acting for years. And in school, I couldn't even do it. Like, I couldn't do acting in school because no, like they just sucked at teaching. They just couldn't teach it, and that meant that we couldn't do it, and nobody chose the subject. So I was like, oh well, can't wait to college. Like college, I'll get to do it. I didn't have the guts by college. I'd had no confidence, so I ended up not doing it. But media kind of offered the kind of acting element because I was more interested on being on camera than I was on stage. I hated being on stage, despised it, still do. Like people would be like, oh, do you want to? No, I would rather not. Like I would rather do nothing, like no work, than go on stage. It's
I
not
was
for
the
me.
opposite. I was the opposite. I was always on the stage every school play in secondary school.
Mm-hmm.
I only missed one because I was off the day you had to say you had to audition, so I didn't have to. It was year nine I missed out, but it was Brothers, so
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a big deal anyway. But yeah, I did. I almost quit in year seven, and I think if I quit the year seven play, I would have quit it altogether. So I've got one teacher because my teachers who run the English teachers were the ones who did the school play every year with the sixth formers who did performing arts, and I think they always did a fantastic job. They did everything perfect. They It was a very organized. It was not a toxic place to be. They knew what they were doing. They knew how to direct people on stage, and it was just really great experience every single year.
You're so
Every
blessed.
I know I'm glad I had people who knew what they were doing. But like he
Yeah.
said, I said to him like, because I didn't like in year seven, I was what 11, and I was like, I don't know if like I like this. I said I want to quit. He says, okay, go to your next lesson, have a think about it, and then come to us on lunch break and make your mind up. And I spent that lesson thinking, what should I do? And I thought, well, I I kind of want to do it, but I kind of don't want to do it. But I just said, yeah, what, I'll do it. And yeah, he really, every audition, every rehearsal, he would always like check up on us, be like, are you okay? How are you handling this? So if you're watching Mr. Heath, I owe you everything.
I mean, like I'm going back to acting properly. I mean, it's been a long time, and I did try to do multiple projects. And yeah, it's kind of nerve-wracking in a way because once you've been like told loads of things and lied to about whether you're good or not, it's quite hard to even believe you can actually do something like that again. And I still like, I will never fully believe someone that if I have talent or not. Like, I will never believe it because it's just like, it's so wired into my head that I'm never going to be good enough for like to be the star, to be anyone. And it kind of sucks that that's the kind of culture that's like gone on, and it still goes on in places. Like you're meant to build each other up. Like I've known like so many actors, like I'm getting to know quite a few, and they are so nice. And it doesn't matter what status they kind of have. They're like, oh, but you're really good, and like you could do this, you could do that. Like there's endless possibilities, and it's like nice when you like see that. Shout out to Jill because she was like so sweet about things. And like I am absolutely scared, but at the same time, I'm like, I could do this. Like I can do it. I mean, going through all of like this time, I mean, why would I still want to do it if I couldn't do it? You get what I mean? Why would
Yeah.
something tell us to keep going if I didn't really want to be? Even though I did, like, Lee knows how many times I've been like, I think I want to quit, I think I want to quit, I want to recast.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if that was me or like the BPD talking. But yeah, I'm kind of nervous, excited, quite disappointed that I'll not be able to tan all summer because continuity.
Yeah, continuity. That was,
Yeah,
it's a nightmare continuity. Like
yeah,
the very first short film I ever was an actor in, the continuity. Like they said to you, you need to make sure your gun is in the same place as it was because we filmed the scene, which killed me about about 15 times. We shot this one scene where the stunt guy would jump from the balcony to the floor. We had to jump up, grab the gun, and then we had to reset. And I'm thinking, where the hell did I have the gun? And I'm trying to picture it in this says if it's wrong, we're going to be here all day. I'm thinking, oh my god. But luckily, I managed to get it right. But continuity is important because you can't have a scene where someone's took a sip of a drink and they put the drink down and it cuts to a wide shot and the drink's full again. I'm
yeah.
calling you out. Supernatural, a big budget TV show, couldn't
What they
keep track
wrote
of
as
continuity.
well.
Yeah, like Sam drinks half of his drink, puts it on the bar, and it cuts to a wide shot, and the drink is full. That always annoyed me.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to be in charge of like continuity on Monday Blues. I think I've let you do that because honestly, I do not read my scripts and I'm open about this. Like, I don't read them. Lee reads them. Like, he's like, oh, I've read it like 15 times. I'm like, I haven't even read it
No, yeah,
once. Like, I just, like, if I've spent ages like rewriting and writing it, like, I can't look at it the same way. Like, I can't be impartial. Whereas eventually, if I haven't read it in, say, like 2 months, 3 months, it sometimes goes like a long time, I'll look at it and I'm like, yeah, fresh eyes. I can actually see what's wrong with it or what's right with it. And yeah, I never used to be able to do that. And I don't think I could do that on other drafts. Like when I look back at my work, some of it is absolutely horrendous. I've got a script folder. I don't know what I would get it out, but God,
it's huge.
it is so like the scripts are so bad. I can't believe I ever tried to get that commissioned. Like that is embarrassing. Imagine if they were like, oh yeah, I would die. I would die of embarrassment. It would literally get like 4 stars, I would say. 4 out of 10. Yeah,
Uh,
I'd rather be
I'll look back
10.
recently. I'll look back recently. Because there's a thing on Celtics' website that isn't on the app. Is you can go through your history of the ones you've deleted, and you can read them over.
Oh
So I
God.
said, oh, he has an idea. I'll go to the very first one I ever tried to write, way back in 2017, and I clicked on it, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, okay, this is no, this is bad. Good thing. Like I was going to contact like a local company about, oh, maybe can we film this? I was like, good thing they didn't. They would have laughed in my face.
Yeah, I feel that. Luckily for me, I burnt all of my Monday Blues drafts from 2011. I literally like there's a photo of them, but I like in the summer I usually have like a chimney slash fire pit and I burnt them all. And gladly there's no copies that I know of. Thank God for that. Like I've got 2015's version, hence why I ended up dipping back into them a bit for the new one because I thought, damn, I've really lost my way. Like, why did I write this in the first place? And then I was like, oh yeah, that's why I started writing it. And it does not like I can't even speak about it now, which sucks. I mean, it's 2016. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to write this show anymore. I'm in college now. Like, I have to write a college show. Like, I can't write about school. I don't even know what went through my head, but like, college show, there it was. And I'm now writing that again because I just thought, why not? It's barely set in college, I would say. I don't think it is anymore. Lee's read it. I
But from
invited
what
her.
I've
I was like,
seen,
come and
yeah,
see.
well, I've seen it's not really college centric.
Yeah, it used to be. It was more about like the main character, Tiffany, going to the college. She turned up there because her parents had basically left her in LA. They were like, oh yeah, you just stay with the maid and just whatever. Like they did not care. Like they were so business orientated that they just didn't care about the kids. So like she's like here I am. Like what are you gonna do about it? And they're just like, how did you get here? She's like, how do you think? I took the private jet. They're like, you stole the private jet? Yeah. Like she just didn't care. I love what she's like in the new one. She's more like, yeah, so you're not walking all over us anymore. I've had enough. You're not telling us how to live my life. Like she is so empowered. And then she's just like learning all these life lessons about the things she was taught and the things she was raised as. And it's nice. It's powerful.
It's
I just
a
look,
good lesson to have as well out there. Like, just you don't have to be just like your parents. You can be your own person.
yeah, I mean, the character Tiffany, she was raised to be like a mirror image and to just say yes to everything, no matter what. And it was just like she got to one point and she's like, I can't do it. And she went down a really dark path. And now she's kind of in the light again. She's like, I can't do this. Like, imagine like being, I think she was about 16 and addicted to benzos because that's the only thing that could keep her sane and to keep her going while she's just like have everyone against her. And it's it's like, wow, like I can't believe you could break someone down like that, but it happens. And I kind of like that my writing used to be about pretty much nothing, nothing important. And now it's kind of about portraying things that are real and exploring things that are going to be relatable to somebody. And I think that's the good thing about writing. Like you can just explore these things and you don't know who you can help when you're writing it. And like I'd rather write about whatever is going on than not and being like blinded. Yeah, if
It's a
that makes
good way to
sense.
do it. It is, yeah. I'd say my early like writing from 2017 to 20, yeah, I'm even going to say 2020. I was using the people I went to college with a lot as characters because
That's
they're the personalities I knew off by
mm,
heart, and so I could easily
backfires.
write them. And I'm thinking, I can't keep writing the same characters over and over and over again. And that it was a kind of rereading them, rereading like obviously the first short film I ever got made that I wrote, Dark Forest, has those characters in. It wasn't until like I was reading a short film I did where I'm like, hang on a minute, this is the same character type. And then I read another one. I'm thinking, oh god, this is bad. So that's when I kind of started learning. Yeah, in writing, you can use people in your life as characters, but use just basic elements of them. Don't have them all the personality in. So like you're just writing that person. You need to write someone else, but you can take elements of them and put them in the character.
That's what I've learned as well. I mean, I learned the hard way because I basically, when I started writing Monday Blues originally, it was as an outlet for what I was going through. So I did use the people around us and to like portray what I was going through. And it just went horribly wrong. People were like, wait, you based like it off people. I was like, kind of. And yeah, that person ended up finding out because people were just snaky back then. And it was mostly one line that could be associated with them. essentially. Like, it wasn't just the character, but they made it a big deal just because the name was similar, but it was actually because I couldn't name the character something else because it was too similar to another character. So it just got took out of hand completely. And yeah, it's better to just stay away. I will never, like, where I can, use character names that are like of people in my life, because I don't want them being like, is this fucking playable? Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that. Like, imagine, like, you just know it's going to backfire at some point because the past always comes back to haunt.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know if there's anything more I can say on my past life, but like, all the things, like those drafts were just more for like an outlet, whereas now I don't really write about anyone. Like, I'll take, say, things that I've went through with people and I'll put that in there, but it's usually not exactly how it happened, not how it played out. It's mostly for dramatic effects, really. People will question like how real Monday Blues is and how much is actually based on me. Autism based on us. Like, it's like as much as I can. The main scenario, no, not really. It's mostly just emotion based. I can't even think. The first few scenes I would say are definitely like what I went through, and that's literal what happened, except it maybe took place in a classroom and not a corridor. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of important to show that part of my life of what kind of happened, because yeah, it sucked majorly. And it just shows that them things can make you into a bigger person, and that you can rise above and you can change. Not necessarily the way that Maya changes, because God, yeah, that's not really her choice. It was more forced upon her.
Mm.
But she's kind of adaptable, and yeah, I guess I am too.
I think the thing because growing up, like when I was a teenager, I always used to hear about, and I was like, I would never be a screenwriter. I was like, I will never do it. It seems like too hard work. It just seems ironic that's what I turned out to be. But the first time I ever tried it was when I was trying to think now, 13 or 12. 12 or 13 is technically when I tried to write a script for the first time, handwritten in a book.
Oh, I've done that as well.
And it was because I was obsessed with the X Files when I was 12. I watched it all the time. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to write it. I'm going to write an X Files episode.
Us
And
right now.
yeah, us right
Lovely.
now. And yeah, I remember writing about 3, 4 pages of it. And I know for a fact it wasn't in proper format. I've looked everywhere and I can't find the book. But the thing is, I never chuck books out that I read in. I've got like a million of them. Like
I'll
I've even
burn
got
them.
some. I've got some in the cupboard next to us that are like from 2013. That one of them has the original outline for Dark Forest that I wrote
Ah,
in 2013.
wow.
So like I would love to
Damn.
find that X Files one just to see what 13-year-old me was writing about.
Yeah, I guess that's like the interesting thing, because you don't really remember what you were going through at that point. All I can guess is for mine that I kind of felt very lonely and that I didn't really have a lot of people around. Hence why the storyline came about of Maya not really knowing anyone. And yeah, I think that's where I could say it come from. But I don't really know. I can't answer that because I have
Yeah.
so many repressed memories. And yeah, I can vaguely remember the drafts, like little bits here and there. My friend probably remembers because she wrote some with us.
Mm.
Oh my God, I just got a memory. Yeah. Oh my God.
Just that look when the memory flashes, like, oh god.
Yeah. That was about somebody I went to school with, and she wrote part of one of the episodes.
Oh,
And yeah, oh, I don't want to say anything about her.
yeah.
But God, I just
I
I
can
just
vaguely remember what Dark Forest kind of what I was writing, why I was writing it.
mhm,
It was ridiculous, I know, but well, I feel it's ridiculous. It's just it was in 2017, and I was kept thinking back to the years, 2 years, 2013 and 2015 in Gated College.
mhm.
They were like two of the best years of my life, and I remember missing it so bad because it was like I like that, like just seeing my friends every day. So I was thinking, so I remember writing the film about them going camping as if this is something I kind of wanted to happen. Just one last kind of get together
Yeah,
that didn't come to pass. So it was a bit like I was letting that part of me that wanted that to happen out. And that's why, I've heard that's why the interactions between the characters are so realistic that it because I was writing like what I wanted to see, basically.
mhm. I was just thinking because we've got under 10 minutes left,
Okay.
advice for like what people, for those wanting to be writers and actors. I mean, I can't really give any acting advice because if I give advice, I'm just going to be like, liar, liar. Why are you not taking your own advice? Like, I'd say for writing, don't be afraid to say what you want because a lot of people try and censor your writing. And it's just like nothing is too stupid because although there's times where I'll judge my own work and be like, that is so dumb. But sometimes it's just like unique and it hasn't been said before, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong. I mean, some of the best shows come from like the weirdest ideas. Like
Mm-hmm.
just don't be afraid to kind of like venture into them because what the hell can go wrong? I mean, half of my stuff that I've ever wrote about came from dreams. I mean, Lee knows because I woke up one morning and I was like, I had a Monday blues dream. I might write about that one at some point, but yeah, just don't be afraid to like use the most creative ideas possible. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. And also learn how to format a script. It saves you a lot of time and it saves you a lot of rewriting. Like I know
Oh
that
yeah.
my formatting isn't perfect because I'm not investing in like expensive programs. Just yeah, anyway. But yeah, just learn that and the best way to learn is to look at other scripts and see how they format it and just kind of copy it. And yeah. And also like I would say improvisation from actors isn't always a bad thing. Let them take on the characters and let them have their own take on it because, like, I've noticed that some people are very, very specific with characters and it just excludes people rather than includes people. So, like, I don't typecast, I don't say like loads of like I just won't give details. I'm like, this is the age, this is the personality, do what like with it what you will, and maybe give character examples and stuff like that. Like I would rather see somebody like use the initiative because that says so much about a person if they're willing to do that and to just like improvise on the aspects. Like I know from what I've seen and what Lee's seen recently, like you can tell who's really like invested the time in trying to be a character. And yeah, I've heard quite a lot about actors turning up as the character they're auditioning for, and it just goes a long way. It really does. It makes them stand out because if you're in auditions and everyone turns up the same way, like you're not going to remember them, but the ones that have went the extra mile, you can always remember.
I've actually remember reading, and I can't remember the actor's name. So there's a show called iZombie,
Mhm. They've got five
and
minutes.
show called I'll just quickly. I'll quickly say this, and because it has about that. Raoul Coley, the one on iZombie, he when he got the script and he read it fully, took notes and everything, and he turned up as the character. And because the character is a bit quirky, So he says he'll do something like that. But when he looked at the actors who were auditioning for that part, none of them had took the effort to do that. That's why he got the role.
Mm.
Now, yeah, I'd say for writers, you want to be a screenwriter, okay, formatting is key. But there's apps out there that you can use for free. Celtics. Use Celtics.
I use
It might
Pages.
take it might take a while, but Celtics has it's a basically screenwriting software that has the format built in. You can go through it, do the action, do the dialogue, do the character, do everything like that. It's the easiest way to learn the format. But there's other software out there that you can use. The ones I like to use is Writers Duo. There is a paid version, but there's a free version, which is even it's better. It's still good. Even if you do the free version, it's still the proper format. Of course, now mainly I use Final Draft Mobile. It's about $4.99, $6.99, but it's worth it just to have that bit on. Just it's easier to use it and write a bad one than not write at all, basically.
Yeah,
So
what
just
I've
write.
found, like with like say Final Draft, it sucks that it's not a Mac version because it's a lot easier to write on a Mac than it is like an iPad and a phone. But like one downside of that is if you're co-writing, like me and Lee do, we co-write quite a lot, like, and he looks in on my work. It doesn't have that aspect, whereas I use Pages and I just send him an email and he can like join whenever he wants to join. I feel like that's like a good thing. Find yourself someone who you can bounce ideas off, and like I think everyone around us who knows both of us know we're like a team now, and
Yeah,
we've only known each other just over a year, yet we've talked every single day since the first time we talked. Like it's crazy.
that's true.
Like
Working as a team is a lot better.
like like it's so weird because like my vision is the same as his vision. Like how the hell we've done that? No
I
idea.
don't know. No idea.
All I can see is I'm looking forward to actually working with him on more projects. We'll have Suspicious Minds, which is in pre-production. This which is in production. And possibly more stuff down the line. I mean, we've got Monday Blues where he is playing Gary, I play Maya, and I don't think we'll have like one scene together where we're actually talking. I think, unless I've read
I
it wrong.
think
Yeah, yeah,
not quite sure.
it's in day two.
Day two.
Yeah. Trying to mentally think, but yeah. It's a weird dynamic that we have, but like having somebody who can like be like honest with you about your work, that's like the best thing, because you just can't be honest about your own work at times, although sometimes I'm like I hate it, but yeah.
Yeah, feedback on script is key. But what I would say is don't use friends who you know will just compliment it and say it's
Yeah,
good. You want actual feedback. Send it to someone who you know who might actually still be in the industry, who you know will give hard, honest advice. Like I would rather you give it to us straight and tell us what you hate about it,
one
rather
minute.
than saying oh, I love it and it go on to be a flop.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, at like some point in it, and I know there's only like a minute left, like, yes, there is taking people's advice, but sometimes, in some cases, you actually know better.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes a lot of things can happen, and yeah, you have to stay and like know your product and know your audience. Like, sometimes that's very important to know like that. And I don't think I ever did until like this year. So that's my advice. Do research. Research is in all
Research
of
is
this.
vital.
Right. So
Right.
that's about it.
That's it. Thank you
And
for
thank you
watching.
for watching. Yeah. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Au revoir. Adios.
Adios.